What's going on, folks? This is Mr. Coleon Noir, and this is going to be my shooting review of the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. Now, my tabletop review of this particular firearm, I noted that it wasn't really groundbreaking or revolutionary or anything new, but that Smith & Wesson had refined the gun and refined the concept. And after doing some shooting with the gun, I have to say that I've really taken a liking to this gun, and has really surprised me in a lot of ways, especially the way it handles the 9mm round. So let's get to the review. One of the biggest surprises about the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield is the way it handles the recoil of the 9mm round. And I really have to say that this gun actually really handles the recoil very much like a full-size firearm. I shot my M&P 9C and then went immediately and shot the Smith & Wesson Shield and realized that I didn't really notice any difference as far as the recoil perception. So I really got to give up to Smith & Wesson for basically building this gun to pretty much handle the 9mm just as effectively as, say, an M&P 9C or even a Glock 19 for that matter. I have to say that I'm really a fan of the sights on the M&P Shield. They're pretty much the same type of sights that you get on a full-size firearm, and I think that's a great achievement considering how slim this gun is. And with the 3-dot design, it's very easy to get my sights on target and get an accurate shot. Now, I'd be a lie if I said that this gun was dead-on balls accurate, but considering its size and its intended purpose, this gun is actually really accurate and noticeably so. And a lot of it is actually due in part to the trigger. Now, in my tabletop review of this gun, I noted that the trigger wasn't exceptional, but it was a step up above from the previous M&P series. But now with a more noticeable reset on the trigger, this gun allows you to stage the trigger a lot better to give you more accurate shots. And then considering how it handles the recoil, it allows you to better execute follow-up shots as well. So kudos to the trigger first. I did have a stoppage while we were firing this gun. I put about 200 rounds to this gun and had one stoppage out of those 200 rounds. It could have been the round, it could have been me limp wristing, it could have just been the gun. I'm really honestly not sure, but I'll put some more rounds through it and we'll see what happens. In so many words, this gun really impressed me. What really stood out to me was its ability to manage and handle the 9mm recoil. In a gun that size, usually you expect your hands to be kind of beaten up a bit, but to be honest with you, it felt like I was firing the full-size Smith & Wesson M&P. Now, I have noted that in the M&P line, they all, in all the range, tend to do a good job with recoil management. So that's a really big up to the Smith & Wesson in general for that. And like I said before, the trigger is a step up, and it's a good step up. So from that standpoint, those are my shooting impressions thus far. I do plan to keep running this gun, and I'm going to run it some more, especially considering the stoppage I encountered. So if I do encounter any more stoppages, I'll go ahead and let you guys know. I'll put up a video on it, but I will do a revisit of this particular firearm just so you guys have an idea of how it's holding up. Alright folks, that's Mr. Coleon Noir, and I'm out. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and y'all take it easy.